Welcome to the Nathan Hale Group's presentation for IST 402, Emerging Issues and Technologies course on cloud computing. We have chosen scenario 1 where we take a fictitious company, Turkey Creek Distillery, through a move to hybrid cloud computing. The following slides outline our group's efforts to simulate real-world issues and solutions for this hypothetical company. First, we established the unstated parameters of the company as a commercial enterprise overwhelmed with growth due to the increased alcohol consumption during COVID, as reported by the National Institutes of Health, and why those changes could drive cloud adoption in an expedited manner. We chose growth and business adaptability as primary factors for change. Looking at potential cloud drivers, we didn't have to look any farther than reports of trends due to COVID on the country's distilleries and how their experience would present hazards and opportunities for cloud-positioned businesses. Larger brand names increased shipments to homes. In-person experiences decreased. Distilleries often sold more sanitizing alcohol than drinkable alcohol, which indicated that a viable business needed to adapt to changing market demands now and post-COVID. The ability of hybrid cloud to scale up, down, in, out, incorporate new facilities with minimum disruption to current facilities, and therefore become less dependent on a geographical or single physical location for anything other than logistical purposes are all key value propositions. The ability to right size to demand puts a business in a stronger position to acquire less agile, smaller businesses that would otherwise fail, a trend reported by industry sources. Here are the basic requirements of scenario 1, with additional data we felt would support a move to cloud for a CFO. Given 4 data centers, a large employee base that is growing, it's important to highlight the risks of recent history where the benefits of cloud architectures can be illustrated. For example, a common risk is the reliability of sunk cost investments and perhaps their direct dollar implications to revenue. Given the COVID-19 related nature of industry changes, we can show the potential impact to the business at the high or low end that we need to plan for. As a group, we discussed the parts of the typical business that would gain the most benefit given a business model that would clearly have to be hybrid. As a manufacturer of goods and customer experiences, even though significantly impacted by COVID currently, there will always be a need for persistent on-premise operations and human touch systems. This business could never be entirely cloud native. However, most of the business operations can clearly be shifted to the cloud specific and primarily software as a service based corporate operations. Using the parameters of this business model, we planned out a hybrid move to cloud, but positioned as an enabler for on-premise priorities. Given the very traditional nature of the pre-cloud business, we decided this was a transformative move of the business that would need a number of key areas analyzed. Deciding what systems work best in a hybrid model, identifying those costs, impacts of the plan on workforce training for new software, retooling of systems, and even people to fit those new roles is considered. Finally, identifying continuing operations that need to stay on-prem. We break each of these tools out in greater detail and list our conclusions a CFO would need to see to sign off.
Our existing topology reflects a fairly typical homegrown information technology paradigm, with a mix of Microsoft and Linux-based servers providing all of the requisite services of a flourishing small business on the verge of outgrowing its ad hoc architecture. For security reasons, public-facing servers are housed in a demilitarized zone between firewalls. A security information and event management server collates log files for security analysis and alerts. The sales, marketing, accounting and finance, information technology, and management are all on-site in an office building adjacent to the distillery and warehouse. Their computation needs are served by a domain controller, intranet server, custom application servers, database server, and tape backup system. A VPN gateway was installed during the pandemic in order to enable anyone quarantining for testing positive or having contact with someone who tested positive for COVID to continue to work from home and access internal network resources. Due to ongoing safety concerns about too many employees being in close proximity and the potential for new lockdowns to go into effect, anyone who is capable and willing of continuing to work from home is being encouraged to do so. As a beneficial side effect, there's less resource utilization of our office buildings and also better online collaboration now between different company locations than before the pandemic. Given that working from home has been trialed successfully during the quarantine, we're proposing a radical shift in how our business will be conducted going forward. We will enable a fully mobile workforce using state-of-the-art, industry-standard software as a service solutions for enterprise resource planning, customer relationship management, supplier relationship management, supply chain management, product lifecycle management, and human capital management with SAP Business One. And we'll equip our workers with the full suite of online office productivity software with Microsoft 365. This will keep all of our employees connected with each other, our suppliers, and our customers, while allowing management to easily orchestrate business operations and conduct meetings remotely. Not only will this change make us resistant to future waves of the pandemic and its economic fallout, but will save millions of dollars on facilities and labor costs. And as our IT staff is encouraged to go remote, so will our upgraded infrastructure for our online presence, file sharing, custom applications, DNS, and data backup. These will all move to Amazon Web Services, reformulated as a cloud-native serverless ecosystem utilizing Amazon S3, Aurora, DynamoDB, and Glacier as our file and data warehouses. Our custom applications will be rewritten as Lambda functions that can be served at the network edge via the CloudFront Content Delivery Network. Only minimal systems will remain on-premises to support the distillery operations, warehousing, and logistics. A skeleton crew of IT and management will remain on-premises. Leased office space will be quit, and owned office space will be leased out or sold off.
The plan is broken down into specific goals or deliverables, each with a deadline. The first step in the plan consists of hiring an enterprise architect who will be responsible, among other things, for promulgating their philosophy across the entire business. They will be tasked, too, with generating a documentation framework and related ideology. This should be accomplished within an 8-week time frame. The second step is to create a cross-functional team. This team will establish the current standards and views concerning the architecture, as well as the specific technical requirements for the transition. This should be completed within a 6-week window. The third step of the plan consists of selecting the right platform or platforms and related services. These will need to be appropriate for the company and its needs and should be completed within a 4-week window. The fourth step is to determine the pre-mitigation performance benchmarks to be used. These are vital for keeping everyone and everything on schedule. The time frame established is 2 weeks. This slide is a continuation of the plan. The fifth step is to assess all the security considerations for the project, which is essential for identifying the potential risks or security issues so that remedial steps can be taken to address all the concerns. The timeline for this step is just 4 weeks. The sixth step is to map all the application dependencies so that various stakeholders within the company have access to the finalized map. It should be completed in 6 weeks. The seventh step is the longest one. It involves moving each application one by one. The time allotted for this step, due to its complexity, is a full 16 weeks. The eighth and final step of the plan is to run and evaluate the post-mitigation performance benchmarks. It will transpire within 4 weeks' time. In closing, the plan is comprehensive with specific steps. Each step has a time allotment so that the project can stay on track and any issues can be identified early.
Our plan originally called for the expansion of the workforce from 3,000 employees at our headquarters and 3 satellite locations to 5,000 employees with an additional 3 satellite locations. The all on-premise expansion strategy, however, due to the increased burden of expanded software packages, networking, and office workstations and accessories, actually required an expansion to 5,108 employees. Conversely, the hybrid cloud strategy, through the elimination of on-premise servers, workstations, and office equipment, synergies achieved through remote employees being able to associate with and work for multiple satellite locations, support contracts provided by software as a service providers, and the wholesale elimination of a significant amount of office space to maintain, allows us to reduce facilities maintenance, custodial, computer technician, sysadmin, and management staff beyond original expectations to only 4,856 employees. Even assuming no startup costs related to provisioning new office space for the expanded locations, since we will wrap that up into the merger and acquisition budget, on a continuing OpEx and labor cost basis over the 4-year cycle, the hybrid cloud strategy is overwhelmingly more efficient for our business. Even baking in a slightly higher compensation bump and/or bonus for the IT and management staff to reconcile for greater expertise and/or training, the reduced need for employees in those areas, as well as facilities maintenance and custodial staff, results in substantial savings to the company. Moreover, operating expenses are decimated through the adoption of a remote workforce paradigm. Even with the cloud, we still need to assign some office space to the management and IT folks, some of whom will need to be on-site still. But with the vast majority off-site, our needs to rent or own and operate office space drops dramatically and becomes the largest total source of savings from moving to the cloud, dwarfing the costs of software related to coordinating our mobile workforce.
Workforce training will be taken incredibly seriously since human resources are the greatest assets of any company. We thoroughly believe that a well-trained workforce is vital to the company's success, and therefore substantial resources should be allocated towards improving training opportunities for the valued workforce. The plan consists of training all engineers before a reduction in force. The training offered will last a total of 8 weeks, and it will include an assessment at the end. The main goal of the workforce training will be to improve employee attributes and the value added to the company. An employee that is well trained and highly skilled is much more beneficial to the company than one without the training and skills desirable. Therefore, training employees is viewed as a solid investment in the long term. A major shift within the company will be towards creating a less localized and more remote workforce. The desire to create a robust remote workforce is grounded in the numerous potential benefits. The evidence shows that a remote workplace saves money since the overhead is radically reduced. The chart below, for instance, compares the cost for an on-premise versus cloud-based workforce. The ongoing costs for an on-premise are over $96 million compared to just over $10 million for the cloud or remote. The reduction in overhead costs will significantly improve the company's elasticity and therefore opens the door for many new and exciting possibilities. The workforce will be better prepared to respond to new realities like pandemics, government tax policy changes or stimulus, economic recovery plans, recession realities, and other issues and circumstances. Ultimately, remoting the workforce will increase the company's profitability and make it more resilient to change. We recognize that the global workplace is changing rapidly, particularly in a technology-driven industry. Today's skills will be outdated tomorrow, and employees must always strive to remain current. We place a significant amount of effort on retooling employees for the future. The process is ongoing and begins by identifying the future needs for employees in each position within the company. This includes listing the required skills, qualities, qualifications, education requirements, etc. Once these future needs are identified, we work to convey the changing demands to our employees and help them to transition and adapt. We offer ample training opportunities for employees so that they can remain current in their respective field, and we create on the job means for employees to grow both individually and professionally. The potential of a workforce RIF should be analyzed. When considering a RIF, it is useful to list the consequences to the employees, company, customers, shareholders, and other key stakeholders. When there is a RIF, everyone suffers on some level. While it may be useful at times, a RIF can have a ripple impact throughout the entire company and even lower morale. The company has a strong desire to preserve the company's reputation. It will hire outplacement service providers and wait until a later date to reduce the workforce. The chart on this slide is broken down into cloud year. The top portion is for cloud year 1, and the bottom one is for cloud years 2 through 4. It has the number of employees at each the main and the satellite locations, as well as the estimated training hours.
Not considering operating systems or application software, cloud alternatives to most of our public-facing and internal servers are much more cost-effective due to the elasticity and paying only for what we use. Provisioning one of each of these powerful Dell servers to each of our locations would be more than triple the cost of Amazon Web Services alternatives over a 4-year cycle. But the bigger savings from this migration, which is captured in our labor force savings slide, is the fact that none of these cloud-native services requires operating system or application software updates. Server maintenance is eliminated, and with it, the need for some of the company's IT staff. Data is also stored across multiple availability zones, negating the need for off-site backup tape storage, also not shown in this cost comparison. And services will also be faster with less latency with the use of DynamoDB and CloudFront CDN delivery of web content and Lambda functions at the network edge. The burden of migrating custom applications to AWS Lambda will go to our internal IT staff, of whom we are not eliminating any during the first year of migration. After the migration is complete, however, we will trim some of our IT employee complement. Before planning a massive corporate expansion and cloud migration, it was important to establish the high-level strategic analysis and documentation of the enterprise in its current and future states from an integrated strategy, business, and technology perspective. To achieve this, Turkey Creek hired an enterprise architect and provisioned the software infrastructure necessary to produce and manage the documentation and models that they would develop. EA provides a strategy and business-driven approach to policy, planning, decision-making, and resource development that is useful to executives, managers, and support staff. As such, all of these employees must collaborate in a unified system, which is what the Sparks platform enables. Expanding to a 5,000 employee company across 7 locations and targeting direct marketing and fulfillment requires a more sophisticated enterprise resource planning, customer relationship management, supply chain management, and human capital management system, which is what SAP Business One provides. Utilizing it as a cloud-hosted software as a service offering enables us to mobilize our workforce so that they can access key functionality from anywhere, including accounting and financials, purchasing, supply chain management, inventory, sales, customer relationships, workflow management, order processing, fulfillment, reporting, and analytics. We can also easily onboard and manage new employees, contractors, gig workers, and service providers as the need arises according to market dynamics in this rapidly changing economy. All business employees require the use of Office productivity software for email, meetings, word processing, file sharing, spreadsheets, databases, etc. Using software as a service for these applications enables the mobilization of our workforce and elasticity in our workforce without having to maintain workstation software packages and servers which may become under or overutilized depending on the market dynamics in play at any given time. Microsoft 365 will scale with our organization come what may.
As Turkey Creek looks to move to a cloud hybrid solution, several back-office costs and controls will be implemented. The first cost that will be implemented is security costs. Security costs will be implemented to ensure that our proprietary ingredients and recipes stay proprietary. Additionally, as we look to expand to new locations across North America, we must secure those locations as well to ensure the safety of our data, our people, our buildings, and also our manufacturing. The second cost is production costs. This is comprised of physical upgrades to meet demands. As we are a rapidly growing distillery, we must make these upgrades. Additionally, we will be implementing automated distilling. Automating distilling will greatly help us meet demands during the COVID-19 pandemic, where social distancing is a requirement for many of the states. The third production cost is tasting rooms. We will be heavily investing in our tasting rooms as we expect great demand for visitors to come see us all throughout the country. The fourth cost is the point of sale reservation costs, so we can welcome visitors from all over the country whenever they so choose. The back office costs and controls are as follows. For business intelligence, we will be using Tableau Creator. This is a one-time upfront cost of $60,000. We will be using Tableau as the dashboard to monitor all of our metrics. For production costs, we will need to invest in specialized HVAC, temperature, and environmental controls. This would allow us to safely monitor and store our product. This is a one-time upfront cost of $95,000. For repairs, this would be an annual $2,000. To start our computer-controlled brewing system, it would be an upfront cost of $200,000. Additionally, it would cost about $20,000 to maintain our computer-controlled brewing is working successfully and needs no patching. Third, we would be investing in tasting room and tour POS equipment. This is about a $25,000 upfront cost and $5,000 annual cost. We will also need to invest in upgrades, such as explosion-proof switches. This is important because we will be dealing with a very high alcohol content in our product. Therefore, we need to make sure that no accidents happen if there were a spill or a leak in our production environment. This is about a $100,000 one-time upfront cost and a $1,500 ongoing cost, assuming no accidents occur. To meet FDA requirements to ensure that all of the aforementioned production costs are regulated and are acceptable, this is about an $8,000 cost and a $1,500 ongoing cost. To invest in security cameras in our location, this is a $65,000 cost and a $4,000 ongoing cost. In all, our upfront costs would be just under $500,000, and our ongoing costs is $34,000 annually. To ensure that all of our back office controls are being properly utilized, we will be investing in a digital upskilling for the upcoming migration. This includes security training to make sure that no breaches occur. Additionally, we will be investing in Tableau training. The two Tableau trainings that we will be offering is a generic Tableau training that HR will perform for all of our interested employees, and then the second training that will be optional and available to all interested employees is the Tableau Desktop Specialist Certification. Third, we will be asking all of our IT employees to take on variations of SANS training. SANS performs several different classes and courses for employees to teach them various cybersecurity Turkey Creek leverages a hybrid cloud solution, it's important that we upskill our IT team. First, we will be offering AWS certifications, since we'll be leveraging AWS platforms. The two certifications that will be highly recommended to our IT teams is the AWS Cloud Practitioner and the AWS Solutions Architect certifications. To do so, we will be leveraging the A Cloud Guru website for training. The training varies greatly on the AWS certification that employees are looking to seek. To encourage employees to leverage A Cloud Guru to get an AWS certification, or a SANS training, or a Tableau training or certification, we will be offering a one-time bonus upon completion of certifications. We will be leveraging digital upskilling requirements for the following employee groups. Finance users will be required to take 100 hours of digital upskilling. IT employees will be required 80 hours of digital upskilling, while management will be required 60 hours. All other employees who were not previously mentioned will be required to take 40 hours of digital upskilling.
In review, we have 4 core business needs that any new strategy must solve to overcome the market volatility and inefficiencies currently reducing corporate profits. Cloud is uniquely positioned to address all 4 by creating a resilient architecture not tied to a physical location and improve overall resource efficiency. A summary of business costs shows the impact of OpEx efficiencies on overall profit, easily making up for the increased costs in software and virtual hardware needed to support the move to cloud. Just how big of an impact can be easily shown. Efficiencies in uptime alone translate into an annual cost savings of $7 million per year. When added to savings due to lower operational costs, it more than doubles annual profits, and that is before benefits of cloud can be applied to increased annual revenues. Certainly what a CFO wants to see in any presentation.